Good evening. Welcome to The Wise View. I'm your host, as always, Sabir Aleem. Wow, what a day. I don't know about y'all up north, but it was 82 down here, and it was a great, wonderful, steamy day. I'm loving it. It's part of my 5-year plan was to move to Florida. So I enjoy all this. I moved here for 95 in the shade, and it's a great day here in Florida. It's a whole lot going on in the news as always, and I'll tell you, like, I have my qualms about many things that I see in the news. It just doesn't make sense. Some of the things that people report, all in the name of creating fear. All in the name of creating fear. It's amazing how we watch the news and we react to the news. And I mean, when we react, it's that we don't just look at the news report and talk to the television, but we react as a people. As a people, we react to these things. Like, I'm seeing all of a sudden we have a surge of all these so-called ISIS attacks, right? In different countries, right? You're seeing all these so-called ISIS attacks, right? Then you see that the incident before the most recent incident, right? This dude drove a bus or a truck or something into a crowd of people, right? Got out and ran, and eventually got shot, right? And that's all you heard about that, right? And everybody reacted to it, and everybody is like engulfed in fear about this so-called element that exists. Right? When we had the Prime Minister or somebody who was supposedly shot right in front of a whole bunch of other people, and when they showed this person who was allegedly shot on the ground, on the floor, no blood, but was shot numbers of times, but yet still we continue to react to these things. We continue to react in the sense that we get engulfed in fear, and then we start looking at those around us who look like those who are flashed across the screen, and we make a decision that in fact is our enemy. How much of this stuff is true? Nobody tries to figure that out. You just watch the idiot box and let it define for you who the enemy is. But these things are always timely. They're always timely in an introduction. And then as soon as I or any other person makes a statement such as, this stuff is a hoax, it's false, it's fake, the first justification or rationalization, you know what that defense it is that they use? They say, well, tell that to the families of those who lost their lives. That's the first defense, and the only defense that they come up with. That's the first and only defense that they come up with. Tell that to the families of the victims. They're mixing apples and oranges intentionally, because what they're doing on one half, they're creating something that they want you to believe is there, and it's not there. It doesn't exist. We go all the way back to 9/11 and all the so-called conspiracy theories. I call them so-called conspiracy theories because they have been so-called. But the fact of the matter is, there's facts to support the so-called conspiracy to all of these events that take place. And I will always reference the movie Wag the Dog. If you have never seen the movie Wag the Dog, go find it. I think the movie came out like early 80s. Maybe somewhere in there like 80, I want to say maybe like, well, maybe the late 80s, 84 to 87, somewhere in there. It's called Wag the Dog. And if you've never seen the movie, watch the movie. And I guarantee you, if you watch this movie, when you come away from this movie, you will look at the media totally different. You will have a different perception. A totally different perception. And listen, everything that's put on television is put on television by design. It's not put there just because. Right? It's put there by design. There is an intent behind everything that goes on television. Right? Everything. Everything goes through a screening process. Everything is patched into something else because it's controlled. It's controlled. And if you don't believe that, then you are you're not even in denial. You're in refusal. You just refuse to see the truth. Because come on, man. You have these you have these surges all of a sudden of bad information that comes into the media. You have this surge of so-called incidents that take place because what happens is you're moving into a Trump era. You're moving into a whole new era now, politics, right? And all these political pundits are clearly pointing to it and telling you what's about to happen. And then you have a surge of reports of things that supposedly have taken or are taking place. But all of a sudden, right, we have a different element here. Because these are no longer so-called suicide bombers. These are just people out there just acting recklessly. Right? There's no benefit, according to what you've been informed of, there's no benefit to going and driving a vehicle into a load of people and then getting out and run. No, according to the sick belief of these individuals, according to what you've been told in the news, these individuals do these things and then they think they become martyred because they do it, but they die in it. So it's like confusing messages, and now you're looking at and you're finding out that, well, these people are escaping, going on the run, all kind of insanity. Like, so what's the message here? Where's the truth here? Where's the truth? You don't want to know the truth. Because if you wanted to know the truth, you would ask questions and you would look into these things yourself. Because they just don't make sense. None of them make sense. The whole marathon bomber piece, all of that. They made a movie out of it. See, there's an intention for everything. So now you make a motion picture about a horrific event. Why? Because we're coming into a new era. It's a new wave of terror, a new wave of fear. Right? Now it's going to be put in motion picture form, so now everybody goes to see this movie. Again, it's embedded in your mind that this is what these people are capable of. What people? The very people that, according to Donald Trump, he wants to have registered. So now I'm a Muslim and I'm supposed to get registered because I don't ascribe to that sick-ass thinking. How do you make the determination? There are many people on this planet who don't even know the different sects of Islam. They see me wear a bow tie and automatically think I'm a member of the nation. Many people don't even know that there's differences. That there's a difference between the religion of Al-Islam and the nation of Islam and the teachings. And you know, I ascribe to the teachings of the Honorable Wallace D. Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. May Allah grant him paradise. I don't ascribe to any teachings that tell me to strap nothing on me and go do this and do that. I don't ascribe to none of that sick stuff. There's nothing in the Quran that tells me to do any of those things. That's man. That's not Islam. And y'all need to get it right. But we have an air. We have an air that has been created that has fooled you. Once again, falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Once again, being hoodwinked and bamboozled by the very element that you invest your money into, that you support. Right? Making a mockery. All to support an agenda. a political agenda. This is about politics, folks, at the highest level. That's all this is about. This is politics at the level of the house. Not at the community level. This is at a much higher level. Right? The idea is to establish and set the agenda. So now you create all of these events. Right? And you have us Americans believing that this is an enemy. Right? That this is what we're faced with. So when the decision gets made to do this, to do that, to Muslims and so on and so forth, it's justified according to what y'all believe. According to what y'all believe, and what many of you are forced to believe. Because you don't take the time to learn about anything. You let the news define and refine your thinking. And you call yourself wise. You call yourself learned. All in the name of what? All in the name of what? You don't even know. You don't even have a clue. No clue at all. It's funny, my mother and I were having a conversation a couple days ago, and we were talking about beliefs. You know, we were talking about religious beliefs and whatnot. We were talking about, well, the New Year, you know. I had called her to wish her a Happy New Year, and, you know, she was just talking about, you know, being thankful to God and so on and so forth. And my mother's never been a religious practicing person, nor was my father. But one of the things that I found out about both my parents is that they both believe in God. My father practiced no particular religion, went to church, but was surrounded by many Muslims in the workplace. And, you know, there's my brother and I are the only two Muslims amongst our siblings, and our other siblings are Christian. But whenever my father would be around us, he would always give me salams, greetings, and always greet, you know, the other family members, you know, according to how they greet, you know, themselves. You know, they would talk about praising God and all those other things. And, you know, he always, you know, played the middle ground. Like, listen, I'm good. I'm whatever you practice. And my mother takes the same position. And one of the things that we were talking about in this conversation was how, like, when you listen to both sides, and when I'm talking about both sides, I'm talking about blacks and whites. When you listen to both sides, if you listen, we're both saying, in essence, the same damn thing. But somehow or another, one always comes away from the conversation feeling offended, defensive, and a whole bunch of other things because of something that the other said about their group of people, about their... And then I was telling her, I said, listen, you know, at the end of the day, right, whether it's black power, white power, Asian power, whatever the power is, but when it comes to blacks and whites, at the end of the day, privilege is what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference. Because we both talk about doing the same thing. We both talk about purifying the lineage of the race. Where's the harm in that? We both talk about power of one another's group, black power or white power, or wherever it is. Right now, anytime you add racism, I mean hate, into any equation, it doesn't matter, you know, the color. But when we're talking about just the basics of purifying of one, keeping pure each other's groups, and that's where is that hate? The hate doesn't come into play until the individual interjects hate into the equation. But I was looking at an article, Philadelphia Tribune, right, about the mummers. This whole mummers parade fiasco, and this is old news, right? This is old news about the air of the mummers. But what is not old is the fact that we continue to go out and support these folks. Now, this is not to say that it's all mummers, and it's not to say that they're all racist, but we do know that racism has been a very intricate part of their plight for years. to purify the parade itself. But this is a parade, right? The Mummers Parade has been a parade, right, for the city of Philadelphia for years, forever. And it has always been Italian driven. We know that. I was born and raised in South Philadelphia. I can tell you everything about South Philadelphia. I can tell you about all the hatefulness that took place upon blacks in South Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia. And anybody who's been from South and Southwest Philadelphia knows. Anybody who's been from Philly who's even ventured down there back in the 60s, the 70s, you already know. Stuff didn't start lightening up until about 75, 76. It started lightening up a little bit. But it was still terrible down there. I didn't move from out of there until 78. So up until about that time, we were still experiencing the hatefulness. And then later on, you know, in the years I returned back down there and saw that a lot of Asians had moved down into the area of South Street and Snyder Avenue, down around 5th, 6th, and 8th and Snyder, down the area. A lot had changed down in that area in the community. But, you know, this was supposed to be what they call the year of inclusion. Matter of fact, here's the article here on aldeanews.com. In a year of inclusion, racism and homophobia on display at Mummers Parade. Right? And there's a whole article that made people that went nuts, lost their mind. But one of the things that was supposed to have been happening this year was that it was supposed to be some discussion. And again, this is alleged. I didn't sit there at the table, so I couldn't tell you that it happened. But there's been reports that there was supposed to have been some discussion had with other groups, black groups, right, to participate in the Mummers Parade. Again, I didn't sit at the table. I don't know. I'm reading it from, I've been reading it for the past year or so, hear about the talk. But it says here, unfortunately, this year had some terrible examples of not only racism, but transphobia and homophobia. Right? I mean, Wench Division performers carried Wench Lives Matter and Pirate Lives Matter signs, jabs at the Black Lives Matter movement, a chapter-based national organization working for the validity of black life, which were clearly intended to offend and provoke. And again, what I said clearly was, a lot of times we both would be speaking the same thing, but when you put hate into the equation, right, and privilege, it changes the game. And that's what people need to understand. Because privilege is being exercised at its fullest. And the outcome, when it comes between black and whites, blacks always seem to be on the receiving end of that stick with no grease. Right? Not even a kiss. But it goes on and on. I mean, there were so many things that were directed at civil rights. There were some things, I mean, it was just terrible. Right? It was terrible. Now, here's the flip side to all of this. The flip side to all of this is, right, so you don't attend. You don't support it. Right? Because I haven't supported the Mummers for years. I've often enjoyed watching the Fancy Brigades, but as more and more dialogue comes out about the alleged racial, dialogue that comes from these folks who are involved in the Mummers, right? I've distanced myself more and more from it, right? Although I enjoy it. I've enjoyed watching them for years. I think it's a beautiful thing. And the reality of it is, we watch television, we watch movies, we're involved with people every day. You don't know who hates you. And the question then becomes, does it really matter? Because do you go through the whole credit, all the credits of somebody who performed, people who performed in a movie, and say, wait a minute, now I'm not going to watch this no more because that person doesn't like blacks. No, you don't do that. We don't live, that's just a stupid way to live. You know, trying to point out and single out who is and who is not, that's just senseless. But when you know when you know, that is where it all comes into account. Because you should know who it is you're dealing with in a variety of situations, right? In this case, clearly, this has been a discussion that goes all the way back to when the numbers first started out. They even got pictures of what kind of signs they carried in protest, right? So then Sugar House Casino, I believe, turned around and they began to sponsor it, right? Again, that speaks volumes about them, because when the numbers fell short in getting money from the city of Philadelphia, for whatever reason, and again, I can't speak to why what happened with the funding, but it became a money issue. So Sugar House came along and they picked up the tab, and they added whatever they added to make this thing continue to go on. But Sugar House needs to look at their position in this as well, because all the money that they're taking in down at Sugar House, right? Sugar House need to be taking at their own reputation and what it is they represent when they put their name on something of this magnitude. See, this is the power of money we're talking about, right? This is where power comes in, right? Now, for people who are gamblers, who are stuck on gambling, right? Who just want to, because when you're addicted to gambling, it don't matter where you go. You go to little Boo Boo's house. If he got some bones in the crib, you going up in there and play. So what I'm talking about is like continuing to support things that we know are anti-blacks. You know for a fact. And the reality of it is, the Mummers has a big umbrella. And they have chairpersons. This is a big organization. And if they don't take responsibility to do anything about the individuals who go out there and perform, who have these kind of divisive behaviors, right? If they have done nothing to change that, right? They know everybody who's performing. They know what everybody is performing. All of this stuff is rehearsed. All of this stuff is known. And they permit it. They're just as guilty as those permitting it. That's the reality, folks. So nobody from that organization can turn around and say, well, we didn't know that the wrenches were going to do this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And if you didn't, by now there should be some level of accountability to your performers, for you to make sure all that stuff is screened. To make sure it's all screened. And if you're not making sure that all that stuff is screened, well, you will bear the brunt of the power of the people when you get shut down. And y'all need to shut it down. Y'all need to shut it down. Right? Period. The city needs to step in, and the city needs to shut it down. That has nothing to do with your right to free speech. That has nothing to do with any of those things. Right? You don't turn around and you can't get a permit to go march down the street, in hoods, but you think you can march down the street in costume with the same intention. You need to be shut down. Let's call it what it is, folks. Let's call it exactly what it is. If this is a battle that they want, this is the battle that they should get. This has been going on much too long. We got all this stuff once again in the paper. People are protesting. People are complaining. But nobody's doing a damn thing about it. Nothing. You're still supporting it. Where's the NAACP in all of this? Right? What conversation are being had right now as we speak? What kind of conversations right now are being had to address this? Guaranteed nothing will be done to change it. Nothing. Nothing. They'll continue to put on. No, they went from blackface to brownface and think it's different. It's a game, man. It's a game. That's all this is. It's a game. Let's see how far we can push the envelope. It's a game. We allow it to be played. So now, Mayor Kenny, it's up to you. City Council, it's up to you. What are you going to do about it? You're running this city. You're the head of the city. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. If the citizens don't do a damn thing about it. The citizens sit back and they watch these things go on and they don't do anything. They don't do anything. You complain. That's all we've been known for years. We sit back, we complain, we protest for weeks, and after that we go back to our daily living. Which should entail building and strengthening our community. But obviously it doesn't. Because we've allowed everyone to come through and destroy our communities. And then complain that they're destroying our communities. Complain that they're taking all of the stores. Y'all sold them. They didn't take them. They were sold. They were sold. So we have this air of I don't care. But now we want to complain once again. So we fell for the banana in the tailpipe by thinking, if this truly happened, that this was going to be the year of inclusion. Where were you included? Who was included? Who was included? What groups of people were included in the performances? Not by makeup, by actual characters. This is Hollywood, folks. You will watch the cowboy and Indian movies, and how many Indians, true Indians, did you actually see starring in the movies? Same difference. Brown face, paint. Same difference. But here's the flip side, right? Before I get to the flip side, it's another aspect of this that I wanted to speak to as well, because you know this is another big issue. Designers. For years we've been hearing about all these big designers, big name designers, and there's actually a list. I have a list that was actually put out, but let me read this, because this is from HuffingtonPost.com, and this is an article, Black Voices, Fashion Designers Accused of Racism in a Letter. This article is from September 6, 2013, and this is by Julie Wilson, Senior Fashion Editor of the Huffington Post. Now, this is September the 6th, 2013. I want to read a brief part of the letter. Eyes are on an industry that season after season watches design houses consistently use one or no models of color. No matter the intention, the result is racism. Not accepting another based on the color of their skin is clearly beyond aesthetic when it is consistent with the designer's brand. Whether it's the decision of the designer, stylist, or casting director, that decision to use basically all white models reveals a trait that is unbecoming to modern society. It can no longer be accepted, nor confused by use of the Asian model. See, again, that's the Jedi mind trick. They throw a couple of Asian models in there, Hawaiian models in there, and want you to believe that they have added people of color. That's the fake out. That's the Jedi mind trick. Because then again, it goes back to just, oh, we have people of color. We just don't have colored people, so-called. See, it's a game, and they're all playing the game. And they're playing the game well. Because it drags it out. It just drags it out. It drags it out. But we know the difference. Black folks know the difference because we don't see none of us in there. But we keep sliding our asses into their clothing. We keep slipping on their jeans. We keep sliding into their dresses. We keep, carrying their bags. We keep making all the purchases of all these designers, right? We keep buying all that stuff, right? And then complain because they say that, well, they don't really make, these things ain't made for y'all. You know, why y'all wear them? They weren't really made for y'all. Well, listen, here's the thing. I mean, like, I've gone to, the Gap. I can't wear their jeans. It's truly a fact that those jeans were not made for me. And I got a half a lima bean. and them jeans make that even flatter. Their clothing are not cut for me. I get it. But that's intentional, folks. So that means that there are only certain things that you can actually get out of there because they don't fit my build. Even with a half a llama meat. They don't fit my build. They're not cut for the build of many blacks. Right? Now when you look at the shirts, you know, things of that nature, well, we can get in the shirts, but their jeans, their khakis, I can't wear them things. But there was a list of designers. I mean, this is actually, I don't feel like going through, I got to go through a whole PowerPoint thing or a film thing. I don't want to go through all that. But it's a matter of, we've heard over the years, we've heard about the, Tommy Hilfiger being on the Oprah Winfrey show, saying that his clothes were not, that he did not make his clothing for blacks to wear them. He didn't, whatever it was that he said, I don't have it verbatim, but something of that nature. We've heard about Timberland and the tree representing this, that, and the other. We've heard about all these things. Right? We've heard about all these different things, yet we still continue to make the purchases and complain. And complain. See, it's a difference between somebody making it very clear that they don't like you as a black person. That is very clear. Right? Then you going and just nitpicking and finding stuff and saying, yeah, well, they don't like blacks either, because that's not entirely true. Just because somebody doesn't agree with you or sees something from a similar perspective and as you do and trying to get you to see, we're saying the same thing, but you don't see it because it's coming from somebody who's white and it's not coming from somebody who's black, but you're in disagreement with somebody who's black who says the same thing. So with somebody who's white and says something different that says the same thing that you're saying, and you're saying is different only because they're white. You're not saying because it makes sense. You're just saying because you want to make an argument because the person is not black. Right, that didn't make sense what I just said, did it? But it sounded crazy because that's what we do every day. But when you know for a fact that somebody does not like you because of the color of your skin, right? Why would you continue to support their products? Why would you continue to support them in any capacity? Why would you continue to do it? And then you have some small-minded, asinine individuals who want to come out and lump all whites together. How do you do that? Aren't we offended when it's done to us that all blacks get lumped together with the idiots out there in the street who are just running rampant all over there, who are just slinging seed all over the place and being irresponsible, who are just spraying the streets with gunplay and all that kind of stuff? I don't want to be included in that. I don't want to be included in that. That doesn't represent me. That's part of my problem, but it doesn't represent me. That's not all of us. But we do that to others, and we don't like others to do, and we're saying the same exact thing to one another, but it's offensive when somebody else says it that don't look like you. You're offended by it. But what's the first thing to come out your mouth? If you go out your house and you find somebody that broke in your garage, what's the first thing you say to yourself? What's the first damn thing come out your mouth? Damn niggas. That's what you say. We know that. See, the problem I have with all that is we talk about burying the N-word, but that's the first thing that comes out of our mouth. But we want to get out, we want to get to the microphone. We want to get out in public. We want to get out in front of other people and act like, oh, we buried the N-word. I don't use that word. It's so offensive. It's this and it's that. But it's the first thing that comes out your mouth as soon as something happens in the neighborhood. You know it. I know it. It's a fact. Period. Period. When you see peaceful protests going on out in the street, and here comes little boo-boo and his little knucklehead crew, want to throw stuff at the police, want to break windows, want to, ransack stores, what's the first thing come out your mouth? Thank you. Right, you want to bury the N-word. It ain't buried. You want to hide. You want to call yourself being politically correct. But the first chance you get caught with that open mic, it comes out of your mouth. But we don't want to have that conversation. We don't want to have that conversation. But that's what goes on. And we know that's what goes on. See, I got a problem with being fake. I got a problem with being phony. I understand politically correct. I get it. I do. But don't sit around and fake the funk. Don't sit around and do that. See, we've been conditioned to be so damn fake, so damn phony, that we go along, we get along with everything. You know, the problem I have, listen, let's dig this, right? We keep saying what others don't do for us. We're still looking to be included in something we don't need to be included in. Establish your own. How many white models are walking around modeling Afrocentric clothing? Tell me how many Afrocentric events have you seen with white models? I don't understand the issue here. Create your own. But we do the same exact thing, and they say, well, how can they possibly wear, you know, Afrocentric clothes? They're not African. Listen to what you just said. Listen to what you just said. So a black model can't wear clothes made in Paris? That's a little confusing. It really is. Listen to the things that we say. They don't make sense. How many garments do you wear made in China? Huh? Only Chinese can wear clothing made in China? Or, oh, I'm sorry, Chinese make clothes for blacks and whites? No, Chinese make clothes. But listen to what you're saying. You mad because the designer doesn't put people of color in their clothes. People of color put their own behinds in their clothes. I don't have to put anybody anywhere I don't want to. That's my clothing. You've already proven I don't have to put you behind in any of my damn shows, and you still going to buy my product. So why the hell should I put you in anything? Truth be told, where's your argument? Why is it an argument? Why is it an issue? The next time you have your fashion show, you put all the brothers and the sisters in it that you want to put in it. But don't complain because somebody who don't look like you don't put you in their show. What is the issue? What does it have to do with living? You promote yours, I promote mine. What's the problem? We got all up in arms with the woman who was running the chapter of the NAACP. We got all up in arms. She's not black. She just, because she embraces the African American culture and she puts your hair in locks, that makes her black. She's not black enough. Well, damn, y'all said the same thing about President Barack Obama. We ain't never satisfied. We just complain to be complaining. We just open our mouths and say things just to open our mouths and don't look at what it is that we're saying. Oh, she's more white than black. How does she run the NAACP? Wait a minute. What is the requirement? Do you know what the requirement is? So you're saying to me that somebody who is not black cannot represent what the advancement of colored people? Well, hell, they've been doing that for a long time. It wasn't blacks that freed blacks, other than Harriet. Who do you think was instrumental in the whole 1856 so-called freeing of the black slaves? Do you think blacks did that? And that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of rhetoric that we keep spewing out of our mouths, and it doesn't make sense. Whites and many others have been instrumental in our advancement. But because we don't get everything our way, we complain about everything we don't get, then we want to cry foul. We want to keep playing the race card. I get sick of everybody playing the damn race card. I get sick of it. Because the other side is that we're not doing a damn thing to promote or build anything of our own. I keep hearing buy black, build black, all this other, and it's like I don't see it. I'm 56 years old. I work hand in hand with many people, with many groups. Where's the building? Where's the unity? Where's the we network, we have all these networking functions, we will network our asses to death, and we come away with the same thing. Conversation. Business cards. And then when you make the follow-up call, oh brother, see, listen, let me get back to you because I'm getting ready to fly out to Vegas, right? Because I got some people out there who, you know, trying to make some things happen. And meanwhile, back on the block, Philadelphia is falling apart. Ain't nobody doing nothing to build Philly. All these little coalitions, right? Nothing. Amount to nothing. At 56 years old, man, I have been actively involved in some kind of activity, legal and illegal, throughout all the years of my life, right? And guess what? Ain't none of them unified. None of them. None of them. The same nonprofits that I was involved with when I got started, when I started my own in 2006, I guarantee you that those nonprofits are still in the same position they are, because people are not working together. People who are getting million-dollar contracts are not pulling us, the smaller ones, under their umbrellas and letting them get a piece of that, letting them eat too, and building together. Not happening. Not happening. They're still in the same positions. Right? The same damn positions, man. We done built new churches. We done divided more masjids. You got more masjids than you can imagine. You know, every time you look up, there's another masjid. Somebody's open, another church is opening up. We got mega churches. No unity because everybody is splintering. That's what's happened to the black family. The same thing with the black family. You're 18, get out. You're 15, you don't want to listen, get out. And then we wonder, where's everybody at? Hell, you could be sleeping with your own damn cousin. You would never know because you keep kicking everybody out of your life. We're so splintered as a people. We're trying to be included in everything, in everybody else, in all other groups, and we're not trying to be included in our own. And then when you have all these folks who they're putting them on blast because they're bleaching their skin and they're doing this and they're doing that to be included. Well, what the hell are you doing? You don't have to be bleaching your skin or doing any of those extreme things to be excluding yourself from your own group of people. You don't. But when are you going to stop supporting people who don't support you? Is that important to you that you can get them 3 chicken wings for $2? Is that important to you? Really? It's that important to you that you keep having money thrown down on a counter at you, telling you to get out my store, talking to you like you're absolutely nothing, right? Following you around their store. What you want in this store? Why are you here? And then stand there and talk about you in their language. While you still, with your face all twisted up, give them your money. While they still let them dirty ass stores sit in your community and you don't do nothing. They don't clean it up, but they keep taking your money. And I'm talking about any store owner, any business owner who is in a predominantly black community who is talking to you like you're worthless. Stop spending your money there. You are allowing them to live. And guess where they live? Not there. Not there. Guess what they drive? They ain't driving it there. And some of them do. They let you know. They get them big Lexus SUVs and park them right in front of a little dirty ass store and let you see what you're paying for. And laugh at you. But they don't do anything to make it better. And they talk to you like you're nothing. Many of them do. Many of them do. You get treated just like, you know how you go to the welfare office and you go in there to get help and they talk to you like you're nothing? That's how a lot of the store owners talk to you when they got shops set up in your community. I don't care what ethnic background they are. They talk dirty to you in your own community. You got one time to talk dirty to me and I'm never coming back in your store. You got one time to look at me. To look at me the wrong way. And I will never spend a dime in your establishment. Never. Trust me, I get my feelings quick. When I'm giving you my money, when I know that I'm helping you eat, when I know I'm helping you put your kids through college, when I know what I'm providing, when I come into your store, I'll be damned if you're going to talk dirty to me. But we let it happen. We let it happen. All the time. We let it happen. I'm not giving you my money. I tell you what, I'm going to put this ice cold Pepsi back into the refrigerator where I got it from. I'll go out there, I'd rather drink the sweat off my own damn brow before I give you my money for that soda. I'll be damned if I do it. But we don't take that, now I got to have something cold to drink, man. Well, go in the house. Go in your freezer, get some ice cubes, and just suck on the ice cube if you don't want to drink the water. Do something, I don't know, but don't give them people your money. That's senseless. Listen, if I go into a restaurant and you take too damn long, listen, my wife will tell you, listen, I was a sous chef for 10 years. I know the value of the customer. I know the value of that server, right? When I hit that table, when I hit that door, when the host seats me, you should be on your way with 2 ice cold glasses of water in hand, or at least a pad and pen to ask me, what would I like to drink? By the time that host sits me down, you should be on their heels. I ain't waiting for so long for you to get to my table. You need to expect service. Expect quality service. You don't take your time getting to me. I'm spending my money. I'm not going to talk dirty to you. I'm going to talk to you with the greatest of appreciation. Right? But don't you dare try to short me on courtesy. I won't accept it. I won't accept it. Period. My wife would tell you, we were at Bonefish, I think it was. And we were sitting there and everybody around us was eating. We sitting there waiting for the food, and like, what? The manager came out apologizing. It's coming out right now. Listen, it'll be on me. Don't worry about it. Now, I said, listen, it's not about free. Now, some of us would have took advantage of free. Yeah, y'all need to feed me for. No, I told them it's not about free. It's about the principle behind it. We sat here all this time waiting for our food. I think the food must have came wrong or something like that. My food came, her food didn't come, and then and I told them I don't want free. I want good service. I demand good service. I expect good service. I understand service getting the weeds, all that, so I'm a compassionate person, trust me. I'm not one of them dudes like, why take you so long about water? Wait, no, I'm not one of them dudes. Again, I was a sous chef for 10 years. But it's a matter of, like, I was telling him, like, this is disheartening. This spoiled, listen, mood is important when it's time for me to eat. I don't know about you, especially when I'm going out to eat. Right, mood is important. You got to set the mood for me. I got to be, you got to rub my back and give me kisses on the cheek. Well, I'm not talking about literally, but I'm saying, like, that's how I want to be taken care of. Right? That's the idea of going out. Right? Because you want somebody to serve you. Me and my wife, we cook all the time. She cooks, most of the time for me. I want us to be able to go out and sit down at the table and us be serviced. Right? We can stress each other out at home when cooking. Babe, where them sides to that? The egg's almost done. I'm shut up. I'm getting them over there. But we can do that kind of stuff at home. We don't need to pay somebody to do that. So it's a matter of why you keep accepting this kind of stuff. Right? And that's why we keep getting some of the treatment that we get, because people see that we continue to just accept some of the nonsense, some of their shenanigans. I'm not accepting nothing. You know, you're going to be right with myself, or I'm going to walk. So we keep doing this over and over again of like just allowing people to do what it is that they want to do. Listen, y'all keep taking what you're going to take from the mamas. I'm not supporting them. I'm not supporting them, right? Enough is enough. I'm not supporting them, you know, because it's just senseless. And when you look at blackenterprise.com, and I talked about this before, when you look at the spending power of blacks in America, let me read Black Enterprise. Here's the article by C. Daniel Baker. This is posted November 28, 2013. And the article headline, African Americans' buying power projected to be $1.1 trillion by 2015. Folks, this is 2017. We have exceeded $1 trillion in spending. $1 trillion, folks. And that, listen, the contributors are those, includes those in poverty and below the poverty line. Don't believe me? Look it up. Oh, you believe me? You know why you believe me? Because that little Negro who's running around them $250 New Jordans just came out, right? And them $150 diesel jeans, right? Right? And that Gucci t-shirt, right? And that Fendi leather jacket, right? And the Timberland cap on, right? Little Scully on, right? Every bit of what? $800 on his back, right? But they're sharing an apartment, right, with a bunch of other kids, and living all together, and right? They could buy a house, right? They could buy a house, right? So you know what I'm saying is right, and all this stuff ain't coming from the trunk, ain't coming from off no stand. They coming from the store itself, right? That's why these outlets have, Tanger outlets have gotten so big, right? Because again, you're being hoodwinked and bamboozled. You really have to go to these outlets and really look at the products, first of all. You got to look at the quality. You go to an actual Coach store, and then you go to a Coach outlet, and you'll see the difference in the stuff that's being sold. But that's another fake out, because you go to a so-called legitimate Coach store, right? You automatically assume that it's legitimate Coach, but they got bootleg stuff in there too. Do you really? Come on, man. This is a game, people. That stuff be made in China. Be made in China. Most of the products that you find on the street are made in China. Hell, I got, what, 2 Joffrey Bean suits. Where were they made? In China. Come on. Y'all got to get with your program, people. Listen, we keep falling for all this stuff, but I'm saying all that to say that when you look at spending power being over $1 trillion, that's a lot of damn money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of power, people. That's a whole lot of power. That is so much power. Do you know the statement that you can make but not shopping at any of those neighborhood stores for a week? Don't go for a week. For 1 week. Don't go. Stock up on all your stuff. Get yourself a membership to one of them wholesale places. I ain't gonna say no names because y'all ain't writing me no checks. But get yourself a membership to one of the wholesale places, right? And go ahead and stock up. For a whole week, don't go down to the corner store. They're gonna be hurting. They're going to be hurting. They're gonna be mad. They're gonna really talk dirty to you when you come back, because they know you're coming back. But I mean, these folks, listen, truth be told, these folks go on vacations. They shut the store down for a week. We going on vacation. What do you mean going on vacation? Yes, you paid for vacation. We're going on vacation. Wow. And they come right, as soon as they come back, you want to go, hey, can I get cheesesteak? Pizza? French fries? Hamburger? Wherever it is that you're going, whoever's got shops set up in your community. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You know, we start cutting back on our own product. I can name some places that when I was going to them when I first started out years ago, they had fresh products. I mean, the food was banging. It was tight. Everything was fresh. Now, they use canned product. Everything's quick. They're putting cornstarch in their peach cobbler. I guess they know names, right? They're using shredded meat as opposed to the meat right off the bone like they used to. Now they're getting this old shredded meat and they're calling it barbecue sandwiches. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I guess they know names. But the products didn't change. But they're still in business. Why? Because we buy black. But why you got to start skimping? Because you make it about the paper as opposed to retaining some integrity. You know, instead of staying with quality product. What brought you to the point of where you are? You start getting raggedy. Prices go up and you getting raggedier. Come on. Really? People, listen, people could have pulled their resources together and had a chain in them restaurants. Or they could have bought the whole damn block and had the restaurant, had a sit-in restaurant, had all kind of, just don't make sense. Don't make sense. And everybody could have bought up all that property. And everybody got together. See, this is what we're going to do. Okay, this is your lane. That's my lane. That's your lane. Everybody could have had their lane and still benefit. And get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and better. I remember, I think it was 16th, I want to say 16th, 17th and Lehigh, there was a big warehouse on the corner. And when they opened it up, it was all these black-owned businesses that set up shop. It was a whole like coalition of shops, and then people, and they were renting out the spaces. They were renting out the spaces. I think about a year, maybe 2 years later, I come back. It had been sold. Asians bought it and turned it into something else. I'm like, what happened? It's disheartening, man. It is so disheartening. But we keep trying to be included. And then we're excluding ourselves and we don't have anything when we're so focused on being included. But not with our own group of people. And then we keep complaining about how we don't have anything, and then when we don't get included, then we want to pull out the race card. You want to pull out your race card? They don't let us play with them. Damn racist. Why do you gotta be racist? You letting them play with you? No. No, because the first thing you want to do is talk about them. Who's the racist here? You won't let them play because you say they racist. They don't let you play because it's obvious with that kind of attitude, your racist position is being shown. Or as soon as something don't go your way, you want to pull up your race card. Come on, it happens every day. It happens every day. You take a person for who they are. You don't lump people into a group with everybody else and say that they're all the same.